The first topic, medieval Indian economy. Okay, this topic I had divided into separate subsections, wherein first I will give you an introduction about the period. Okay, the period, and also the various sources which we have. That is not quite important, fine, but the period is quite important because there is a constant debate between the historians about what the period is when it is considered with regarding to the medieval India. Fine, that we will try to define. Fine, okay, so that you can also categorize the various periods. Okay, and you can also have a specific knowledge about the various policies being brought out in various dynasties. Fine. Next, I will give you the introduction about transition from ancient to medieval India, because it is not quite advisable to start with the medieval India as such. Okay, so first we will see how the economy has changed from the ancient times till the medieval times. What are the various changes in the economy? Fine, and then the economics of the medieval India. That is, first I will give you a broad picture how the economy was in particular dynasty, if it is possible, if it is mentioned. Fine, and then I will give you each and every detail of the policies being brought out by the particular king, if the name of the king is available, or by the particular dynasty, if the name of the king is not available. Fine. So under the economies, we will have two specific things. One is general perspective, that is at that point of time what was there, and the other one is specific or special. Fine. So starting with the period. Okay, historians consider the medieval India as to be from the fall of Guptans. Okay, right from the time when the Guptans had fallen, okay, and till the time when the colonials had arrived, that is in the 18th century. 16th century they have, 17th century until 1600s and 1605 is a specific time when they had arrived. Okay, but considering the impact, okay, but considering the impact and considering their rule upon us, we can consider medieval India to be from later 6th century, okay, early 6th century to later 18th century, 1790s and all. Fine, okay. The medieval period is being divided into various subparts. First, it is till sultanates or sultanates, okay, Delhi sultanates. Fine, it is early medieval period, and the later medieval period from the arrival of Mughals, okay, till the colonials. This is not quite important. I am just giving you an introduction. Fine, to make you familiar with the concept of medieval India. Okay. Now coming to the transition part. What is the changes which are being brought when India has arrived from ancient India till the medieval India? First thing is the practice of land grants, mainly because of the Brahmins. Okay, Brahmins were given tax-free and ruling powers. It is not ruling powers, it is ruling powers. Fine, ruling powers, wherein they were called as agraharas. These were more practiced when coming to the medieval India. Okay, kings had given more number of grants to the land grants to the Brahmins, which are tax free. Okay, they are called as agraharas. Fine, and the royal control was arrived at through the payment of government officials by land grants, that is the zamindars, okay, or the jagirdars. Okay, all these concepts have come, which had played an easy role for the king, because they didn't want the direct control to be established because it is too hectic. Okay, it is too hectic. So what they have done is they have and also paying the salaries, it was too economically impossible. So what they have done is they have given a few land grants to the people, to the officials, and they have said that the responsibility of the officials is to give the government a particular amount of revenue, and at the same time earn it by themselves. Fine, okay, and there is a distinct evolution of landlordism. That's what I was talking about. In the ancient India, because of the unsettled form of life, landlordism was not much famous. But in the medieval India, landlordism in the form of jamindars and zagirdars, it has grown in manifold. It can be said as in India mainly. In the medieval India, landlordism has grown in manifold. Fine, and the decline of trade that led to the decay of towns, not in the medieval India as such, because in medieval India we can see many towns has emerged, but when compared to the ancient India, yes, obviously the ancient Indian period, if it is compared to the medieval Indian period, we can say that the number of towns has reduced, or at least the development has reduced, and the trade has reduced comparatively. Fine, because of the various restrictions, that is not quite important to you, but because of the various restrictions which are being put by the Brahmins on the sea trade, okay, on the sea trade, and obviously, of course, about the piracy and all, the trade has reduced in one aspect, and the towns has reduced in the amount of development. Fine. Next, coming to the sources, there are various sources which are dealing with the economic perspective of medieval India. Fine. One is international or foreign travelers like Huan Sang, okay, Pace. We'll deal about him in while talking about the Vijayanagara and other kingdoms, okay. And then the numismatics, the coins, okay. Numismatics is nothing but the coins, okay, coins which provide quite a large number of information. Fine. And various other inscriptions like the Madhuban copper plates of the 7th century. Fine. This type of inscriptions has also told us about various forms of administration and also the revenue system at that particular point of time. Okay. Now I'll come to the general economic trend which was in existence in the medieval India. Okay. First, it is that the punch marked coins have been introduced. Okay, have been introduced in 5th century BC. But although the punch marked coins has been introduced in the 5th century BC, but the system of barter system which was in existence in ancient India, that was even in the 5th century BC also, or 6th century BC, it was in practice. Fine. The punch marked coins also, although they were introduced, fine, the barter system was much famous. Fine. Okay. And the first punch marked coins were in silver. That was in the Mahajanapadas. Okay, the first punch marked coins, these are the first punch marked coins are in silver that were there in the Mahajanapadas. Okay. Sorry, yes. Self-sufficient villages. This is quite an important feature. See, I'm not telling this just for the sake of telling you, but who expects? I mean, who knows? There might be a change in the pattern of asking, saying that which of the following is a characteristic of medieval Indian economy. Fine. One is self-sufficient villages. Most of the needs, mainly because of the Judge money system, most of the needs were being sufficient among the village itself. Whatever they wanted, they produced it there itself. Okay. And imports and exports, they were mainly on the barter system. They were mainly based on the barter system. If I have spices, I will give you. If I have cloth, I will give you. You give me whatever you have. Maybe it is drugs, or maybe it is opium, or maybe it is gold, or maybe it is silver. Fine. Okay. And revenue, coming to the revenue part, most of the portion is from agricultural produce. Although in the 18th century and all, trade has flourished a lot, but even then we were scoring more on agriculture itself. Okay. We weren't having a significant amount of contribution from the artifacts or from the handicrafts, although they are an important part, but they were not exceeding the contribution of agriculture. This is what I was about to say. They were not exceeding the contribution of agriculture. When compared to agriculture, every other sector was less. Every other sector was less when compared to the agriculture. So the medieval Indian economy is mostly driven by agriculture. Fine. And this salary to the craftsman was in the form of share of the produce. Like, say for example, if I am a craftsman and you are a farmer, you are a rich farmer, I provide you with some handicrafts, I provide you with some crafts. Okay. So what you will do is you will give me some harvest. Okay. You will give me some produce from your harvest. Fine. Next, the crops production and agriculture had flourished. Although it is till a certain time, we will deal about what is the time in the later slides. Okay. The agriculture and crop production has flourished, but peasantry has increased, or pauperization has increased. And poverty has increased. That's what I mean to say. Poverty has increased. Poverty has increased. Fine. So this is because of the squeezing revenue policies. Okay, the squeezing revenue policies of the kings who were at that point of time. Fine. And then last but not the least, obviously the exports have grown to a large extent. Okay, the exports have grown to a large extent in leaps and bounds, and that is the reason we had attracted the Europeans who later who came as traders, but later who became our kings, right? Who became our kings. Okay, and the land revenue or the revenue system which was there in the medieval India, it was mostly in the way of collecting the produce. Okay, in the way of collecting the produce or cash, that is mainly calculated on the basis of your agricultural produce, that is 1/4 or 1/6 of your agricultural produce. Okay, 1/4 to 1/6 of your agricultural produce was the revenue which you have to pay. But at certain point of time, they had even paid 50%. Okay, like in the case of Tughlaqs, okay, they had even paid 50% of the revenue. Sorry, 50% of their produce. Okay, and Hyun Sang, the Chinese traveler, okay, the Chinese traveler has said that agriculturists have been categorized as Shudras. Agriculturists have been categorized as Shudras. What we mean to say is, agriculture as a source of income has reduced to so low stage that the people who are cultivating, they rather than being the other systems of Varnas, they have come down to Shudras. Okay. Yes. Next, it is another important term. It is actually I'd have made it in italics, but somewhere I missed it. It is Vishti. Vishti, Vishti. By Vishti, I mean to say that it is a kind of forced labor imposed by the rulers. They did not pay the people for the work which I am doing. Okay, they did not pay me for the work which I am doing, but I am asked to pay. I am asked to pay my tributes to the ruler by working in his fields for a particular point of time, without any salary or without getting any agricultural produce. Also, even I won't get any agricultural produce. Fine, that is called as Vishti system. See, in most of the cases, we don't know these terms. Okay, so what happens is, somewhere this term is given in the bit, and you are given 4 options. You are asked to choose one from them. Fine. So in these cases, these kind of words will be quite important to you. Fine. So Vishti is where the ruler makes the laborer to work in his fields or her not her fields, her are not many, but his fields. Okay, without paying salary. Okay, that is how it has become a forced labor. Fine. And then this has brought in a new class of people, that is the landlords, the zamindars, whatever I was saying, because of the land grants which the people used to get. Okay, and because of the power to collect the revenue being given to the people who own that land. Okay, landlords have come up, and in these landlords they can grant permission for people to cultivate. Okay, so landlords have come up. Fine, this is a new class, and this has grown as an influential class. Okay, and then there are 2 types of taxes which are being imposed. Okay, there are being 2 types of taxes which are being imposed by the rulers in general. One, it is regular, and then it is the irregular tax. Irregular tax in the sense pilgrimage tax. Okay, which happen in an irregular sense. Okay, or else the taxes which were introduced by the Muslim rulers on Hindus. Okay, the zakat. Okay, all these kinds of things, they come under irregular taxes, and regular taxes are the taxes which are mainly on the agricultural produce. So the regular taxes are either called as bhaga or bhoga. The regular taxes are either called as bhaga or bhoga, which are mainly on the agricultural produce. They are mainly based on the agricultural produce, which are called as bhaga or bhoga. Fine. Yes. Another thing, it is Grama Mahajana. Yes. This is a sociological perspective, but I am just informing you for the sake of information. Grama Mahajana is like your Panchayat Raj, Gram Sabha. Okay, Gram Sabha, they used to assist the village headman in taking various decisions, and the village headman is the person who collects the revenue. Earlier, Earlier it is the village headman who collects the revenue, and later the system of landlords had evolved. Fine, it is the village headman who collects the revenue, and it is a form of okay, fine, that we'll deal about later, no issues, because if I tell you the term now, then you'll be confused again. Fine, the village headman collects the revenue and he pays it to the government. Fine, and this was later took over by Desa Grama Kutas. That is not important, but what is important is, in the early medieval times, the village headman was the person who is responsible to the government in order to collect the revenues. Revenue collection was under the village headman. Collection. Fine. Now we'll jump on to the first important kingdom, that is the Cholas. Okay, the Cholas are considered as the earliest in the southern India, and the founder is Vijayalaya. This is not important. Okay, I've just given you for the sake of information. Don't expect me to do the same in the later kingdoms, okay, or the later dynasties. Fine, okay, and they had ruled over the parts of Tamil Nadu, over the Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and the parts of Karnataka like Coorg and Northern Ceylon. The source which we have from which I have in Cholas, an important source, it is Uttaramerur's inscriptions. Uttaramerur inscriptions, and they say that the village was autonomous. It was having self-reliance. Okay, it was self-sufficient or self-reliant. Okay, self-sufficient or self-reliant. Fine. And the terms which are quite important during the time of Cholas, it is Veli. Veli, which means 1.5 acre of a land. That is during the times of Cholas, land was measured in the terms of Veli. Now the unit of measurement of land is hectares, right? And at the times of Cholas it was Veli. Okay, at the times of Cholas it was Veli. Fine. And another term which is used here is Ur. Ur is a term which is used for ordinary village. Okay, Ur is something which is related to ordinary village. That is, this ordinary village has every member of the village, that is the Shudras even. Okay, and then they have Brahmadayas, that is those of Agraharas. Agrahara land is called as Brahmadayas, and the organization of that Agraharas is called as Mahasabha. Fine. What is important to you here is Ur, Brahmadaya and Veli. Mahasabha, obviously you might be knowing that Maha, which is for superiors. Okay, so Veli is 1.5 acres of land as of now. This is the unit of measurement of land in the times of Cholas. Okay, Ur in the sense ordinary village gathering. Okay, and Brahmadayas is a land which is granted to the is the land which accommodates. Okay, is the land which accommodates the upper class people, mainly the Brahmins. Okay, fine. Next, it has 3 tiers. That means Chola society was mainly 3 tiers. The top, it was this Samayam or Samayam. Okay, Samayam or Samayam. It was mainly consisting of the rulers, fine, the priests and the nobles. Okay, next it is the Nagaram. Nagaram, it can be it is similar to the term which is there nowadays. Nagaram, generally we refer it to the town or city. There it was town. Okay, Samayam, mainly it is the urban area. Okay, it is the urban area. It is synonymous to both rich people and the urban people. Okay, it is synonymous to both rich people and the urban people. And the Nagaram, they used to act as a redistribution center between the Samayam and the local level lands. Okay, that is the villages, Ur. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. Rather, I'll repeat it. Okay, fine. Okay, yep. The Chola kingdom has 3 tiers of existence or settlements. One, it is the local level, that is at the local level it is the village, that is called as Ur. Fine. And then It is Nagaram. Nagaram, which acts as a redistribution center between the Samayam, that is the urban area, and the Ur. Fine. Okay, it acts as a redistribution center between Samayam and Ur. Fine. So Samayam produces all kinds of handicrafts. Fine. And of course the cloth, etc. And the Ur gives the Samayam with the raw material whatever is needed. Fine. So this is how the trade will happen in the used to happen in the Cholas period. Fine. And then there were the main source of income in the Cholas time, it was land revenue and the trade tax. Okay, Cholas had introduced something which is called as a trade tax. It is tax based on the tradings. Okay, tax which is applied on the tradings which are being done in the present day, at that point of time. Okay, along with that, there is also something called as the land revenue. Okay, so these are the two important sources of income in the Cholas period. They also used to have the metal industry and the jewelry, mainly the Tanjore. Mainly the Tanjore. Fine. And then another important thing is, along with the trade tax, okay, along with the trade tax and along with the land revenue, another important source of income for the government was this sea salt, normal uppu. Fine. The government has complete control over the sea salt. Fine. So they used to earn income from three sources. One is the trade tax, another is the revenue, and third one is the salt. Okay, and the third one is the salt. Fine. The Cholas had guilds. Okay, one point of time, my question is, which of the following sources gives the Cholas the highest economy? Okay, first it is land revenue, because agriculture was intensely being used. Fine. Second, it is the trade, and the third, it is the salt. Obviously it can be understood because of the very common need of every person. Salt is definitely priced low. Okay, then the income will be definitely low. But land revenue, of course, it is the land is mainly producing land. Okay, agricultural land. So obviously the land revenue will be more when compared to the trade revenue or trade tax. Okay, or the revenue coming from the trade. Fine. And the salt will be next one after these two. Fine. Okay, and the guilds were organized. By guilds, what we mean to say is organizations. Okay, organizations. Associations or organizations. Okay, these are mainly by the merchants, artisans, okay, and various other kinds of people. Okay, guilds are not are in existence even till from the times of ancient Indias. The Telis, the Choras, okay, all these things are called as, all these are guilds. Okay, and here guilds have grown more powerful when compared to the ancient times guilds. As a matter of fact, the guilds were also organized hierarchically. Nanadesis. Nanadesis are people who visited different parts of the country. Okay, and Nana Desa, it came from Nana, in the sense various Desa. Okay, they used to visit different parts of the countries. Okay, and Nagaram are obviously, as I mentioned you here, Nagaram is the term which I mentioned you, that works for local. Yes, that works for local merchant associations. These are mainly based in two areas. One is Mamallapuram and the other one is Kanjipuram. Two Purams had Nagaram. Okay, two Purams had Nagarams. This is how we can remember it. Purams had Nagarams. Okay, this is how you can remember it. First it is Kanchipuram and the other one it is Mamallapuram. These are the two locations wherein they used to have local merchant organizations which are called as Nagarams. Fine. Yes, tenancy. Tenancy was accepted at that point of time. Tenancy was famous at that point of time. By tenancy, what we mean to say is, say for example, I am the landowner. I have a few people under my, I have a few hundred acres of land under my control. What I do is, rather than me cultivating on the land, I will issue the permit to a few people, farmers maybe or tenants maybe, either way it may be called as, fine, and I will take the profit from them. Fine. So on that basis, tenancy is mainly three bases. First, it is ownership. The whole village will pay the taxes. Okay, and this ownership, okay, under this ownership based farming, the Vellalars were famous farmers. Okay, the Vellalars were famous farmers. Okay, and what I mean to say is, Vellalars were rich farmers. Okay, ownership, large areas of ownership was under the control of Vellalars. Fine, and the whole village was asked to pay tax, and the name of the tax is Vellan Vaigai. Vellan Vaigai. Vellan Vaigai is the name of the tax. Fine. Next, peasant owners. These are the small landowners. Okay, these are the small landowners, not the Vellalars. Vellalars were people who are owning large lands. Okay, small landowners are peasant landowners. They did not have any tax to be paid, but rather they had to be provided. They had to be providing services under the system which is called as just a sec. Yes, Vishti. Under the system which is called as Vishti, they were asked to provide services to the kings rather than paying taxes. And then ownership to the Brahmins. Obviously, Agraharas, what are they called as? Okay, Agraharas, what is being called as? So the Brahmins were owners of the tax-free land. Okay, they were the cultivators of that land. Fine. The persons who were paying taxes were, agricultural tax. They were divided from the persons who were not paying taxes. That is, these peasant owners were divided from the Vellalars. Okay, and the treatment was also meted out in a different way. The Vellalars were given more higher position in the society when compared to the peasant owners because they were not paying any taxes. Okay, and the persons who are paying taxes are called as Irai Kudigal. Irai Kudigal is the term which is used for the persons who are paying taxes. Okay, the persons who are paying taxes is called as Irai Kudigal. Fine. And the main export, okay, during the times of Cholas, it is from the cotton cloth, and also silk was developed at the times of Cholas. Okay, silk was more developed at the times of Cholas, and Kanchipuram was famous at this point of time. Okay, and the main exports were from Uriyar or Urayur. This is the place of producing cotton cloth, and these two, that is Saliyar and Kaikular, these are the places of export and ports anamata. These are the main places of exports. Fine. And Kanchipuram had become famous at this point of time, as I have told you. Fine. And the main trading partners with the Cholas were the Tang dynasties of China. They were mainly trading in cotton cloth. That is the and the agricultural produce. Fine. And then the Sri Vijaya Empire of Malayan Archipelago. Okay, Sri Vijaya Empire of Malayan Archipelago and the Abbasid Caliphate of Baghdad. Okay, Abbasid Caliphate of Baghdad. Cotton was main import for them at that point of time from the Cholas. Fine. Next, it is the Pallavas. While coming to the Pallavas, the land revenue was fixed. Okay, 1/6 of the produce to 1/10 of the produce, and the tax was collected for local needs also. That is 1/6 to 1/10 plus local needs tax. Okay, and Variam is a self-governing system okay, is a self-governing system which had been used for collection of taxes. Varyam, all are starting with V, right? Varyam, Varyam, okay. And Brahmins were given a large number of land grants, and it is because of the large number of land grants which are being granted to the Brahmins that obviously they have become the rulers. I mean the pseudo rulers, what we can say is, or the de facto rulers, because of the large amounts of land which they are having in their hold or in their control. Fine. And this led them to create a large number of agraharas or devadanas in the sense that is given to the gods, okay, that was also under the control of the Brahmins, or Brahmadeya villages, okay, and Brahmadeya villages mainly for the collection of taxes. Fine. First it is Varyam, which was an autonomous body in the village in order to collect the taxes. Fine. Brahmins were given a large number of land grants that has led to a large number of devadana lands or the agrahara lands. Fine. Or the Brahmadeya lands, okay, or the Brahmadeya lands, okay, and then tax was also collected from other professions, fine, like say for example the handicrafts, okay, or the sculptors. All these people were also asked to pay the taxes, fine, and income from land revenue was very meager for them. This is important. Unlike the Cholas, the income from land revenue was very meager from them, mainly because large number of agraharas, okay, existence of large number of agraharas, and this was mainly tax free, and rulers were also not in favor of asking the Brahmins for taxes, okay. So that is the reason the land revenue was much less when compared to the Cholas. Fine. The main metals which were used at this point of time, okay, it was lead and copper, and bronze alloy was also used as a material in order to make coins in the times of Pallavas. Fine. There is no much discovery of silver and gold coins, but these are mentioned in the inscriptions. This is not important, but if a question arises that which of the following metals are used at the times of Pallavas: lead, copper, gold and silver, it should be all the above. Fine, it should be all the above, okay. Yes, it should be all the above rather than just lead and copper. Fine. And the coins were mostly round and a few were square in shape. In case of Cholas, the coins were mostly round and also square. Okay, yes, the Chola coins had round and square, and they were made of copper mainly. Yes. Okay. And the basic symbols, whatever, I couldn't insert a picture here, but the basic symbols were bull, the Pallavas emblem it is. Bull is the Pallavas emblem. Okay. And the emblem of Lord Shiva. These are the two basic symbols which are there. And apart from this bull, there is also lion, and there were other symbols like the flag, fine, elephant and crescent in the sense, this kind of a symbol, okay. These were all used at the time of Pallavas. Fine. Next, it is the Pandyans. Here we have a historical source, okay, here we have a complete historical source in which Marco Polo has considered the Pandyan kingdom as the richest kingdom in existence. This is important because a question might arise that which of the following writers had considered the Pandyan kingdoms as the richest kingdoms in existence. That is Marco Polo, right? That's Marco Polo. And the main business was in pearls, trade. If we come to trade perspective, the main business was pulses, and the main business partners of the Pandyans were mainly Romans and the Greeks. Okay, the main trading partners of the Pandyans were the Romans and the Greeks. Korkai is the famous port city from where the pearls used to be traded. Okay, this is not important. This is not important. I just mentioned it for the sake of mentioning. Okay, and the Pandyans, it was said that they had a very good art of taking out the pearls, escaping from the sharks. Okay, Korkai is the famous port city from where they used to export the pearls to Greek and Roman. Greek and Roman, right? Greek and Roman. Fine. And the most expensive pearl was the pearl of Mannar. Okay, the pearl of Mannar. Okay, which was bought by the Roman Empire. This is quite important because during the times of Pandyans, pearls were famous, and the most expensive pearl was taken up by the Romans, not Greeks. Okay, this was the pearl of Gulf of Mannar, or the pearl from the Gulf of Mannar. Fine. And Megasthenes has written that the pearl trade of Pandyans had given them the greatest wealth. That is, if you are asked the question that which is the main revenue source of Pandyans, obviously it is the pearl trade, right? Pearl trade. Pearl trade. Because of the highest existence of pearl trade, okay, with regarding to the land revenue, it was quite less. Okay, and the coins which were used, the metals which were used at that point of time for minting of coins, they were mainly gold, silver and copper. While coming to copper, it was mainly done with the dyeing activity. Dyeing in the sense they used to put some color on it because it should not be fortified. What I mean to say is it should not be duplicated. Fine. And it has had images of different Pandyan rulers, while the Pallavas had the image of cow, had the image of bull or lion, along with the other images like the crescent. Okay, they did not have the images of the kings, but here the Pandyan rulers had put their images on the coins. Okay, fish is the symbol of Pandyans. Okay, and fish conch in the sense shankam. Okay, shell. Okay, and bow were there on the coins along with the figures of the kings. Fine. And some coins had Sundara Pandya or Su inscribed on it. See, although this might come under architecture, okay, this is also quite related to the economy because we are dealing with the minting activities, the coins. Okay, fine. They had Sundara or Sundara Pandya inscribed on the coins. Fine. And some had the Pandyan legend. The Pandyan legend is Veera Pandya. Here you have two bits. Who is the Pandyan legend? 1. Okay, which of the following names are inscribed on the Pandyan coins? You have 2 bits. Okay, fine. And square coins were more famous than the circular ones. Okay, and the square coins had elephant on one side, and they did not have any other symbol on the other side. Okay, any other inscription on the other side of the coin. Fine. The Pandyans, the coins of Pandyans which bore fish symbol. Okay, which bore fish symbol. Fish is the emblem of the Pandyans, right? They were termed as Kodandaraman, okay, and Kanchi Balugan Perumal. Okay, these are the two terms which are mentioned to the coins which had fish symbol, the symbol of the Pandyans on them. Kodandaraman and Kanchi Valangum Perumal. Okay, and the Chola standing, that is they had taken or they had borrowed from the Cholas also, the Chola standing and seated king type coins. Okay, they did not have any specific form, any specific shape of the kings, Cholas, but they had a seated or standing king. But these people have introduced the rulers. Fine. Okay, had these types of coins with the titles like Bhutala Elam Talai, fine, Parasurama or Kulashekara. And apart from these, the Elam Talayanam was also seen on coins in which the kings were standing. Okay, in which the kings were standing. On the other side, it was Elam Talayanam. Fine. This is not quite important. Okay, But what is important is gold and silver coins had Sanskrit inscription on it. Gold and silver coins, obviously they are rich people's coins. Gold and silver is obviously rich, right? So they had Sanskrit inscriptions on them, and copper has Tamil legends. Okay, copper has the Tamil legends. Fine. Next, the Chalukyas. Well, till now we have dealt about the Pandyans. Okay, various terms which are being used at various points of times. Fine. And the fact that the Pandyans had also introduced the had the figures of kings, various kings, okay, being inscribed on them, and we had dealt with various types of terms which are used at different points of times. Well, friends, in our next class we'll deal about the Chalukyas, because too much in this class will be too much for you. Fine. In the next class we'll deal about the Chalukyas. Thank you.